Okay, we are back here in the channel. We do have a special guest here with me directly from Orlando. We have Mr. Derek Vickers. I'm really happy to have you. Really excited to have you here. Super experienced operator down there in Florida. So I'm really happy to have you here. Hi,
Yeah,
Derek.
man. I'm excited again, man. You should have told me like I need to be in the podcast studio when we do this, man.
Oh, no, no
But it's
worries.
it's it's gonna be killer anyways.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to chat. Obviously, I want to ask you, how did you get in this space, MHP? How did you get in here?
Yeah, so I basically stumbled upon the asset class. I was looking for multifamily deals. I was a good analyzer for about 5 years, and the numbers just weren't that exciting for me. I'm like, why am I going to put all this effort into you know 5% returns and it just didn't make sense to me. And I yeah, I had some friends that were buying some that had bought a couple mobile home parks, and I basically started researching. And I just love the fundamentals of the asset class. Low supply, high demand. You can't build across the street from me, especially in a prime market. And so I just did what I do best. I found a list and started just hitting the list, cold calling the list. And then I would go meet with sellers on the weekends. I drove down to like Belglade and Pahokee. I don't know if you know that area in Florida, but it's a rough area, dude. And I drove down there and met with some sellers and some other areas. I remember I met with this lady down there. She pulls up and I'm in this park and it's a rough deal, man. And she's like, hey, come inside this house with me. She's smoking cigarettes. She's got like in the ashtray in her car, like she's smoking in her car, so she's using the ashtray in her little SUV, and she's smoking in the house. She got like this big you know hair, and I was a little scared. I didn't know what she was gonna try and do to me in there, but she was. Anyways, man. So had a lot of interesting experiences like that. Just from going and meeting sellers. And anyways, long story short, I ended up stumbling into a deal. I had a guy I was talking to, had some experience and in mobile home parks, and he was like, "Hey man, I got a deal under contract. I'm closing in a week. I forget the exact number." He's like, "Hey, do you want in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude." Because his operating partner backed out, so he needed someone to do the dirty work. And I was willing to do that because I was committed to getting into the asset class. And so I was like, screw it, man. I'm going to get in. The deal was nasty. The deal was ugly. Everything that you're told not to do was involved in this deal.
And do you still own that deal, right?
Yeah.
To this
Yeah. It's
day?
a great deal now. It's a freaking awesome deal. We bought it at the end of 2020 and we've refinanced it 3 times.
Three times. Wow, so
Three
that's a
times. Yeah.
really good deal.
Yeah.
Really good deal.
Refinance
Wow.
it three times in 5 years. So
Dang.
we've pulled some. It was an infinite return a long time ago, but I
Still.
don't know. It's very incalculable at this point.
Oh, yeah, that was a home run.
Yeah.
That was definitely
But
a
I'll tell
home
you,
run.
but I'll tell you that deal. I think it's important because that deal actually, you know, basically allowed me to understand the business model I was going to use and go by because I figured out, hey, this didn't work and this did work. And I think it's important for people to like just if you get into a deal, like you got to figure shit out, right? And you may get into a deal and it's not that great, but you learn kind of, yeah, I don't want to do that kind of deal, or I want more deals like this and like this. And so, that deal actually taught me a lot because it was like, hey, this business model works. I'm going to go that way.
Wow. So from that deal till now, right now, how many lots are you guys owning? Are you guys own?
Yeah,
right
so
now?
total we're about 2,500. Actually, it's a little under 2,500, and we have another, I don't know, probably two or 300 under contract, something like that. Um, so we're growing. We're growing.
Wow. Wow, in 6 years, that's a lot. That was you guys scaled hella fast, really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big jump. And look, I can't take all the credit for that. I mean, I had great partners and, capital partners and investors that came in and helped me. So, I get to I take all the glory for it, but it wasn't, you can't do this shit if you don't have good people around you or, high powered people helping you.
That that's interesting that you're saying that because I was listening, I don't remember which podcast or one of your YouTube videos earlier this week, uh, and you touch on something around the line that when you were started, you were trying to do it all by yourself, and when was the point that you were, oh, I cannot do this thing alone? When was that turning point?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, there wasn't really a point like after I got into that first deal and I was able to we were able to get the deal and close it quickly because we had partners, right? And I had assistants. I was like, wow, that was easy. And then I was good at finding deals. And so I found another deal, closed it with the same partners, the next deal to close it with the same partners, and boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, wow, I can actually scale a lot faster um, by doing this with other people that are experienced and actually complement my deficiencies. So for me, that was the light bulb. It's like, wow, if I was just an idiot and trying to do all these by myself, then I would have had not even I might have had three parks by now, maybe more, but it I mean the amount of equity that I built in that first year, I mean it was just it was insurmountable compared to what I would have done on my own if I would have just, felt good and my ego felt good because I owned 100% of the deal.
Well, was that partner that asked you to get into the deal? Was it experience or was his first deal too?
No, he had some experience. He had some experience. Um, yeah, he did that. I think he maybe done eight or 10 deals before that. Um, so he did have some experience. So it was nice that I could ask him questions. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, right?
Yeah,
I didn't
but
know what I was doing. But
yeah,
but
but
I
mhm.
got to tell you that I'll get questions from people online where it's like, I'm like, why the fuck are you asking me that question, dude? You don't have a deal yet. It doesn't matter. Like, you need to get a damn deal before you ask me this dumb question about what's your eviction process. It doesn't matter because you don't have a deal, man. Like, I just,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, that's right. That's the you're talking specifically to me because I feel like I do not ask enough question sometimes because obviously I just told you my story, but yeah, I'll just go head on and I understand afterward when I already committed all the mistake. But yeah, that's sometimes I feel like I should ask more question, but yeah, I'm like,
But
okay,
even it's like answering the. I mean, look, I think there are dumb questions. Actually, you said that there's no dumb question. I think there are dumb questions. If you don't have a park, you don't need to know what the process is for fixing the wastewater treatment plant when it goes out, right? Why you need to know
yeah.
that right now? You need to figure out how to get a deal under contract and close it.
Hmm.
You'll in due diligence you'll learn some of that stuff because you have to do due diligence on the utilities and whatnot. But I just think that you could easily overthink that, like I did for 5 years looking for multifamily. I was overthinking, and it was really like, oh, I don't know this, so I'm not going to take action. It was really just an excuse, right? I was actually creating a justification for not taking action, if that makes sense,
Hmm.
because it's scary. Because it's
It
scary,
is.
man. Especially you get a deal under contract, you got your earnest money up, you don't know how the hell you're going to pay for the due diligence costs, how much that's going to cost. If you don't close, you lose that money. You don't get it reimbursed back. So I understand it's a lot. It's a lot to think with, but at some point you're just going to have to, dive in and go.
Got him.
I still deal with this today. Actually, I still deal with this today when doing my deals. I'm like, do I want to put the 250K down for earnest money? No, I don't, but I do.
Wow. That now with all the experience that you have, it's been already 6 years. How are your buybacks today? What are your buybacks? Are you minimal lots? Where are you guys buying? How it looks like.
Yeah, we like to stay in the 40 to 150 range. Um, there's still some mom and pops there, or there's some, second tier operators that maybe bought, in 2020, 2021, and they want to exit. Maybe the business was a little more difficult than they thought or whatnot. So there's still some of that there. And our strategy is to just roll those up. Maybe we'll sell them to a larger company at some point. Because the large private equity company is not going to buy a $5 million deal, but they'll buy 50 of them that are
Mm.
stabilized, right? So that's our strategy. We're still doing value add deals, although some mornings when I wake up, I'm like, why am I still doing these type of deals? But we have a good process and a good system um,
So
to handle those things. But sometimes I'm like, you know, I get on the operations meeting every week. I'm like, oh
the
my
reason
God.
the reason because I was asking because while you're searching for deals, especially in your guys' area, Tampa, Orlando, I see a lot of 5 units, 7 units. I mean, it looks like they're as far available looks. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm too new to this, but what I'm noticing that we have a lot of these small parks, and the bigger one, 40 plus, they're not really interested in selling, or it's the new acquisition. So I feel like they're already picked up. So maybe I might be wrong, and you know the market market
Yeah,
better
I mean,
than
look,
I do, but do you see the same thing?
yeah, I mean, look, it's getting more consolidated. There's no question about it. I mean, you used to be able to, we used to get mom and pops on the phone all the time. But now it's like, maybe someone that bought it in 2020 or 2019, 2020 or 2021, and now they're, maybe looking to exit because, they extracted all the value that they think that they can get out of it. Or there may be various reasons. Maybe this park's a pain in the ass for them. Maybe they, we're finding more of that now. I still have some mom and pops I've been working on for 6 years, and they're still, I'm gonna get them eventually. I'm gonna get them eventually. But you're right, man. Most of the mom and pops and the large MSAs are kind of gone, other than the small stuff.
Mm, yeah, definitely, definitely. So what was one of your last acquisition? Oh, one of your last acquisition. Do you want to break down one of those deals as far last ones? We one
One of the
of the
most recent
craziest,
ones.
yeah, most recent,
Oh, crazy one.
crazy one and recent one. The
Well, um, yeah, we bought a park, um, a value add park. I thought I was going to regret buying, but we got it at a great basis, man. It was like 58 a pad, great basis. Um, a lot of vacant park owned homes, small park owned homes, so like one bedrooms. But there's probably B plus or A minus multifamily right next door
Mm.
to the trailer park, right? So excellent location, great basis, crazy owner, um, mom and pop owner, and we went in and we started selling off some of the vacant park owned homes, and it's going well now. I mean, there's still a lot of work to do, but um, it was an all park owned home deal. I mean,
Oh wow.
the guy was charging weekly rent, bi-weekly rent,
Oh,
semi-monthly rent. and monthly rent and who and all the other fucking deals that he had with the tenants. And so it was a bit of a mess to go in and say like, hey everybody, rent's due on the first and it's late on the fifth, and they're like, like I'm used to paying whatever the hell I want, right? I mean, imagine that. Imagine that if you're a mom and pop owner, you're using Excel, maybe you're using paper, yellow notebook paper, and you're tracking weekly rent.
It,
You're
it
having
was
to,
it, it
you got to
was even
go.
tracking it. It was
Yeah, I mean,
tracking it.
it was somewhat.
Wow, that
I
was
mean,
a
it's just
really
hard.
mess.
It's hard enough to collect on some of these things monthly, right? And he's doing it weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, and you know,
So
but
it
that
was
deal
basically
is
it was living there. This the seller. It
no,
was
he wasn't living there. He wasn't
no.
living there.
Oh, that's crazy.
No, no, yeah, pretty wild.
That's crazy. So now that will be park on home. Why did you get that? I get because I feel like a lot of people are trying to avoid those park on homes at least.
Yeah,
100%
and
park on home. Why did you
yeah,
guys pick it up?
because the basis, there was a great basis per unit, right, in an outstanding location. And so, of course, I don't necessarily like the park and homes, but I like the value that we can add by selling them. And yeah, I think that was more of a great basis play. And it was probably, well, now that we put this other deal under contract, I don't know. It's like that was might be the last super heavy lift that we do, but we do well on these heavy lifts, man. I mean, it's a pain in the ass for 6 months, maybe 9 months. It's a real pain for 3. It lightens up after 6. After 9, it's still a pain, but we do well on them.
Why
I mean
stop
that
then?
that what's that?
Why stopping then? Just
I know, but we always make it to the point of like, hey, this is a great deal, but just getting there sometimes is just crazy. I mean, you gotta. In this particular park, we had to evict a guy. He just literally stopped paying rent. He owed like 12, $13,000 in rent, and the
Mm,
judge still sided with him, and it was like, hey, as long as you give them the keys, you don't get an eviction on your record or anything like that. I mean, this dude owed 13 grand.
oof.
Like, and this guy was like responding to the judge and suing and like all this stuff. As for what, we didn't do anything wrong, but you know, a process that takes a month took 6, right?
Oh wow.
And so, you know, Paul handles operations, but I'm on the operations call, and then I, inevitably get pulled into some of this stuff because I know the operations so well, because I manage the first 3 parks myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, we're probably not going to stop doing them. I can sit here and bitch about it, but
Yeah.
I can't pass on 58 a pad in a great market. Hard for me to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I can imagine. Definitely. So I guess all type of value add. What type of value add are you guys doing as for just infilling and obviously touching on the infrastructure, or how deep are you going? As far deep, let's say the deepest is converting from, let's say, from septic to say public utilities. Let's say that will be the deepest value add. What level are you guys, stopping? What guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on the project and like what the cost is and if you have to or not. Because I'm not going to tie in the city sewer if I don't have to, right?
Mm,
Because it's much cheaper to actually operate septic. Um, and quite frankly, it's easier to operate, like in most cases, right? Yes, you could have a pain in the ass tank. You have to pump all the time, or if you have to replace, but you just replace the tank and you put a new drain field in, and it's fine. City sewer, though, can be interesting because you have these old pipes and the pipes clog and people throw shit down them. They do this with septic too, but it's you never capture. You say, oh, you build back for water and sewer. You never capture 100%. You just never do, right? So there's always that leakage, and so your expense ratio tends to run a little bit higher, even when you're billing back versus if you just had septic. But that's why it's important to do due diligence. So I don't change them over if I don't have to. We have done a conversion before, but it was a pain. It was a total pain. We were forced to. It took like almost 2 years to completely complete the project.
Wow.
Um, yeah, conversion from septic to city water, septic and well to city water and city sewer. So we do DD on the infrastructure. We figure out what needs to be done to make it workable. These parks, I mean, we're not buying the park with curbs and sidewalks and pickleball courts and all that. This is affordable housing, right? So as long as the system works and it's clean and it's safe, that's fine. And then when we need to fix something, we fix something. So we're just not going to go all out on it if we don't have to on the utilities. Um, we do bill back for utilities as far as a value add thing on billing back for water, sewer, trash when we can. Aesthetically, we do fences, we pave the roads, lights, fencing around the dumpsters. Some of the park-owned homes that we sell, we'll skirt them and paint them. This is kind of a value add for the tenant taking over the home that helps us pick up the value of the property. We spend more money on oak trees than I want to spend on oak trees in Florida. I mean, it's unreal. Like, and like you could have a tree guy come in, like, oh, it's 40 grand. I'm like, oh, did you do it yet? And they're like, yeah, we're done. I'm like, it doesn't even look like you did anything because there's so many freaking trees in here. So, you know, um, and then we do
Wow.
lights and cameras in the parks as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are cameras useful? Or do you
Yeah, they're useful. They're useful. Um, yeah, I mean, it stops. We had a park that had a lot of through traffic with, you know, not the sketchy people. Let's just be honest,
Mhm.
right? And we put the cameras up, dude. It was they
Gone.
stopped
Gone.
immediately because these cameras too. That's like they remind me of the sentinels on the Matrix. So they like you walk past the camera and
Oh, they move with you?
it moves with you. It's kind of creepy actually.
Yeah.
So you can imagine someone walking through that's doing something sketchy and they see that they're done. Like they're out. I had in the first park we bought another story. We had this park was a mess, dude. Like I literally went from the insurance office, which was 15 minutes down the road, in a suit and tie. I would change into like t-shirt, hat, basketball shorts, and I'd have to go chase homeless people out of the freaking out of the homes. People shooting up around the homes. It's wild. But there was this guy the park used to be his drug stop,
So,
right? He had this low
uh,
riding car and he would always meet people in there and sell them his stuff. So I was like, I've hated this, and people drove through the park all the time, and it pissed me off to the nth degree.
and
And
just
so
the
I
camera
was,
fix
well, no, no,
all this.
no. This was I'm
Wow.
giving you another fix. I'm giving you another fix. So we paved the roads, and the contractor was like, "Hey, do you want speed bumps?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, make the speed bumps as big. I want the biggest freaking speed bumps in the history of the world." So he made these speed bumps, dude, and they were like, I mean, you even had a truck you drove over, and you're like, all right, I know I'm going over a speed bump. But when I was at the park the first time that this car sort of drives through, and he like scraped the shit out of the bottom of his car on the speed bump, gone, never came back again.
Ooh, that's a
Yeah,
golden nuggets in there.
and the through traffic stopped too. So the there wasn't as much through traffic because they didn't want to go over the damn speed bumps because they were like pretty brutal. And another wild story, the downfall of this was that, hold on one second.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on stories, man. So the downfall, we kind of got the downfall of the large speed bumps, which we've actually reduced these speed bumps at this point. But
Mhm.
So we had a new home installed, and people started to like drive around the speed bump. So this dumb chick comes in. I don't know if she was drunk or something, and so she tried to go around the speed bump, hits the hitch of the mobile home,
Okay.
knocks the home just got blocked and leveled, so it knocked it off the blocks, the whole
Okay.
thing, and it was sitting down like this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
Dang.
we had to get it reblocked and blah blah blah. But
Who pays for the damage? Insurance?
I mean, it wasn't really any damn. I mean,
Okay.
no, we just had to pay the guy to do it again
Oh my God. Oh my, oh my God. Oh,
because we
that's a
didn't really own
nightmare.
the home. We owned the home, right? I mean, we were selling it to somebody, so like
Oh my God.
we just paid for it and moved on.
That's a nightmare. That's a
Yeah.
nightmare, but
People
yeah.
people don't tell you about that when they're like, "Hey, buy mobile home parks and bring in homes." What if some idiot hits it and knocks it off? Like,
So cameras and speed bumps, man, that's really golden nuggets there. Because
yeah,
I
yeah.
always hear about I always hear, okay, there's some maybe sketchy activities going on park, like that's just a deal killer, just move on. Just move on. I mean, most of the operators
I
is
mean, yeah, I disagree with that, dude. I disagree with that highly. I mean, I mean, do you know what you're buying? Like, like there's gonna be like some sketchy stuff there. I mean, there just is. I mean, look, I guess there is one park here in Orlando that we backed out on that I would not buy just because of the where it is. Well,
yeah.
it's not even just where it is. It's just like it's unchangeable. Like the area and the tenant base that's in there, it's unflippable. So you
I've
can't.
I definitely believe you. If it's you that you change a whole neighborhood with your park, the one in the one in Nebraska in Tampa. So
Oh
if you're
yeah,
saying it's unchangeable, it has to be
the
unchangeable.
well, Nebraska was changeable. We changed Nebraska there, dude. Um, look, Nebraska's still Nebraska, but I feel like our parks, like you walk through our parks, it's like, it's not, it's definitely better. It's definitely better.
Yeah,
But this park that I'm talking about is unchangeable. It's unchangeable.
unchangeable.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, that's interesting. So as for as for financing, that's also funny. One of your podcasts the other day that I was even no, I think it was today actually. I was listening to the as for deal structuring and financing, you were touching on creative financing and cash transaction. Basically basically talking on the point because obviously talking to a lot of buyer, I get a lot of people that say, hey, I only do owner finance, but so basically my partner my partner tell me, "Oh, if they're talking about creative financing, just keep that buyer, just keep it short. Don't talk, don't talk to them." So I want to touch a little bit on that. As for what you see, you have a lot of parks, and what's the ratio between some stuff that you get owner finance and cash transaction? How how do you feel? And if you feel that it's realistic, just get in there and just, hey, I'm gonna owner finance this thing.
Yeah. I
And
mean, look, so I've got one under contract for owner financing right now. And then we did the one Lakeland deal, the one South Florida, and that's it, dude.
that's
Three
it.
out of 51 deals. 3 out of 51 deals because of exactly what you said. And you probably heard me talking about this online. I mean, you can't, as soon as you um, reach out to a seller and say, I only want seller financing, it's like they're going to think you're not serious, just like John said to you. And it's true. Like the only reason we have the deal under contract for seller financing right now is because it just worked out for the seller. It's what he wanted, and it made more sense to us. He was trying to charge us a higher interest rate, and I'm like, dude, whatever. I'll just get a loan. Like, I don't care. And he's like, no, like I'm like, I can go to the bank and get better terms than that, and they'll probably be easier to work with than you will. Um, I don't think I actually told him that, but we ended up yeah, I mean it's just got to work. And I mean I think it's dumb that people online say only get seller finance because you're all, yeah, you can do that, but you're going to have a park in the middle of nowhere fucking Tennessee, you're going to be in Alachua, Florida, you're going to be in, you know, 100 miles outside of Tucson in the middle of the desert, you're going to be in Tyler, Texas, and then when you go to sell that, you're going to be like, I can't sell it because no one wants to buy four parks that are all over the place, you know? So you're going to have to sell them all at a 9 cap to, to the
Mm,
next
that's
the buyer. So your exit's going to suck. You may have made some cash flow, but, you know, people just need to focus on buying good deals, right? Because when I didn't have any money, you probably heard me talk about this. I was trying to negotiate with this guy in Auburndale, and I just got all. He said he wanted 150 grand down. It was like a $450,000 deal, or no, it was a $500,000 deal. He wanted half down, 250, which was still a killer deal. But I only wanted to put down 50 because that was all I could put down. And so the negotiations got all jacked up, right? Because I was trying to like, and I know people that listen to this are going to go through this because you're trying to negotiate without letting him know that you don't have any money because you don't want him to know that you don't have any money, right? And it just turns the negotiation weird because it's like, why wouldn't you want this deal that's a, you know, a 13 cap, you know, 20 a pad in Auburndale, and so you're trying to maneuver all these things, and um, you know, you end up missing good deals because I just go in and say, hey, I'm going to buy this deal, right? And by you were dicking around with seller financing. First of all, he probably didn't call you back after that,
yeah.
but I just went and said, hey, I'm going to buy it,
Yeah,
right?
I know exactly because
And
yeah,
especially when you're playing in these big markets, dude. I mean, you're going to get hosed by me because I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I can close in this, and you're going to come in and try and do seller financing or something, and I'm going to win like most of the time, and someone else is going to win. But I'll tell you, even when you're negotiating, well, this deal we have under contract now for seller financing, it's pretty easy to negotiate the terms. But sometimes, like, you have 10 other terms to negotiate instead of just a purchase price. Um, you know, because you piss and moan over the purchase price, you piss and moan over the down payment, over the interest rate, over the, you know, the prepayment penalty, the amortization, the you know, all the stuff,
all
right?
the stuff. Yeah,
The what's
the
the
balloon.
balloon?
Yeah,
When's that going to be? Um, you know, who's guaranteeing the loan? What if you don't pay me? So it does
first
add some.
position, second position, all the
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
look, we're negotiating a portfolio right now, seller financing. It's a $25 million deal. Now, I will tell you, I didn't ask him for seller financing. He offered it, and I'm like, okay, this makes sense for us because the rate that he's offering is better than we can get. I like the guy, so I won't mind dealing with him. But you know, it's got to work for multiple parties. You know, they have to have their reasons for doing it. Of course, I'd love to get everybody. Now, I will say this: before you have a relationship with the bank, it is easier to do seller financing because the bank's going to do their financial probe on you. And if you don't have the net worth, you're going to have to find someone that does,
yeah.
right? To because they're not going to give you non-recourse on these deals. You're going to have to guarantee these loans, right? Um, but just buy good deals, man. Buy good deals.
Find the, yeah, I agree. And right now we are the time of the $1 million question. What is something that people like me, assignment people, do to annoy you that really annoys you really bad? What's something that really a wholesaler, something that want to deal with you really, really
What
annoys you?
people
Yeah,
that do assignments?
Yeah, something that really annoys you about them.
Um, I don't know. Oh, maybe sending. Yeah, here's one. Here's one. Sending me a deal without telling me what the fee is, or if the fee is included in the price, because I don't want to underwrite the deal and get all hot and bothered. And then you're like, hey, our fee's 50 grand. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, yeah, I didn't calculate that in. Bothered about this number, but it's actually this number. So
Mm,
giving the fee straight up, I think is important because you send me a deal, I underwrite it. I'm like, ooh, this is great. You're like, wait, but the fee's 100 grand. I'm like, well, shit, dude, why didn't you tell me that in the beginning? Because then I would have put it in my underwriting from the
mm.
beginning, and I wouldn't have gotten all excited
Got it.
beforehand. So I would just that's what I would say. But I love assignment people, man. I think it's so dumb. Of course, the brokers hate people to do assignments. I get that, but it's who cares, man? I mean, you're trying to make money, you're finding deal, you're providing value. Like you're giving me a deal that I couldn't find before. But one thing is, like, I have even some brokers do this. They'll like send me a deal that's listed. I'm like, don't fucking send
Oh,
me a deal that's listed. We've already fucking looked at that. I'm not giving you a fee on that. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. What you mean. And what about something that will definitely kill the relationship? You say what something that annoys you, but something that really okay, I don't. Even if it brought me the 40K for bed down in Lunar Land, I don't want to deal with this guy.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. What would kill the deal? Like kill
No,
the relationship?
kill the relationship. Let's say someone that you won't deal with him, even if it brought you a 40K pet per 40K for pet down in Orlando. Just a slam dunk deal, but
I mean, it would be hard for me to it would be hard for me to not take that deal. I don't care how much I don't like you. I can deal with you for a little bit to get a 40K a pad deal in Orlando.
yeah, there's
I'll deal
nothing.
with you for a little bit, bro, even if I don't like you. Look, I'm easy to get along with, man. I mean, I guess what would piss me off, I've never had this happen. If you send me a deal and then you ask me to send you a contract or something, then you send it to someone else and they have it under contract, that would piss me off. But I've never had that happen. But even if that did happen and you brought me another deal, I would just make sure that I button it up a little tighter. I would still take the deal. So it's hard for, I don't know. I mean, you have to do some real douchebaggy stuff for me to be like, hey, I don't want your 50K a pad in Orlando. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
differences aside, Vittorio, you're an asshole, but we're still going to do this deal. We don't like each other, but we don't have to talk that much when we do the deal, you know? Maybe it
Right.
renew the friendship too, man.
Yeah, actually you're the first person that tell me that there's always something that gonna break the relationship. People tell
Like
me, but
what?
you're
What
the
do people say?
trust either it's trust or even if you're asshole. I was talking to Robin Preston. It can be the the better deal on earth. I would just they're just gonna pass on there if the
From
one.
if the wholesaler's an asshole.
Yeah. Or whoever, broker or whatever, whoever brought the deal. They're
Yeah,
gonna
I mean,
just
I can see that. I can see that viewpoint. But I can communicate with people and I can handle like if the dude's an ass, like I feel like I can like at least get into communication with them. If it's a good deal, I'll still do a good deal. If they're untrustworthy, I'm just gonna check the boxes to make sure that nothing untrustworthy happens. But I just well,
Mhm.
maybe if the guy's like a complete sleazeball and I know he's like screwing people over and stuff, maybe I just be like, yeah, I don't even trust this guy, or maybe I would. But
Mm.
I don't. What would you if? So if you're an operator, I'm an asshole, but I'm like, hey man, I got 60 a pad in Tampa. New units. Here's the assignment. You sign it. You're under contract. You wire the earnest money. What would you say? Like,
I personally, Personally, yeah, I gonna just suck it up and do the deal. Personally.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I've done deals with people I don't particularly like. I mean, but I'm a cordial guy. I mean, I can get along with people, you know.
First,
So
personally, but I can see myself maybe when I get older, maybe 10, 20 years down the line, I will say, okay, I don't really like you. No, just we're gonna just move on. I mean, I see
yeah,
both spectrum.
but yeah, and but the yeah, and other things. I feel like so mobile home parks. It's kind of it has its different operating fundamentals. However you cut it, you can say it's kind of like multifamily and not, but it's because there's not many of them and they're not building them. You may not ever get a shot at that deal again, you know,
Yeah.
at least for another, there was a deal we just bought in Tampa, paid 100 a pad for it. I had a chance 3 years before that to pay 60 a pad for it, but I was an
Oof.
idiot because I was like, oh, it doesn't completely hit my return metrics. But it was in a great location. We already owned in that market, but it didn't check the box like 100%. But it
And
was
you ended up
dumb.
you ended
It
up
was
paying
dumb
for 100
because
K.
it is still a good deal at 100K, right? But it would have been a smoking deal at 60. How could have I refinanced it twice, maybe? Um, so I think this asset class, and not to get off topic, I just think that you have to look at it differently because you get a deal that's borderline. When are you going to get a shot at that deal again? And then next year, the seller's going to want more. If you're like, I'm going to wait, it doesn't matter. The seller's going to want more next year. I got a deal like this I'm working on now. I could have bought it a year and a half ago for maybe 60. Now you want 72, right?
Aye.
And so, like, it was borderline then, it's borderline now. Like, is it good? You get what I'm
Go.
saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we're running out of time, but then gonna gonna decide between this question. I wanted to touch a little bit that for sure on the YouTube channel component that you have. Definitely you've been doing it for a while again, for a while. Actually, not a while, maybe 3 years, right? three
Yeah,
years that you have,
probably 3 years or something, not that long.
but you have like a ton of content. I mean, like maybe thousands of videos. You just went
I
crazy.
got a lot of videos. Yeah, I got a lot of videos.
Yeah. Yeah, you went crazy. I wanted to ask you if the channel per se is bringing you any deal or any people to your fund. Is it working? How it looks like uh as far the social media
Yeah,
presence.
yeah. I mean, look, I definitely think it works more than you think it works because, well, I mean, I was even talking to a broker the other day. They're like, yeah, everybody I talk to knows Derek. Like, but these people won't even like. It's so weird. You go to MHI and you'll see people look at you, but nobody will come and talk to you because they're like, I don't know, Derek. I don't want to go talk to him. But so I think it works because people think about you, right? Whether good or bad, who cares? Attention is attention. Um, we could be better at social media. It definitely helps with investors because they get to go on and kind of see how I think about deals and things before we have a call. So I don't have to start from scratch with them a lot of times. Although I did have to start from scratch with an investor yesterday. And I just sent him a bunch of stuff, and our next call will be better because he'll have done a little bit more research. So it does help. It's definitely gotten me some investors, definitely gotten me some deals. It's definitely solidified the credibility with deals because people, they know who you are, right? They go on and look at you. Could be a bad thing too because they're like, oh, this guy's got a shit ton of money. Like we can try, we can try to retrade him on the damn price.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So are you getting a lot of inbound inquiries like, okay, I saw your, let's say, I saw your channel. I want to invest in your fund. Something around those line, or just go
So we
best backwards.
not a lot. I think it's more for building for somebody that comes into the ecosystem and then they can go check me out. I mean, because we have ran ads before, and
Mhm.
it had like modest, I think, results. And then so I think if we ramped up and ran more ads, to be honest with you, I mean, we're just not as strategic as we could be around the social media because we have all these other stuff going on, deals and capital raising and operations. But it would probably behoove us to get more strategic on that because, um, I mean, it's a lot of work. I mean, if you're doing this now, you can probably see it's a lot of damn work.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
but it's it definitely helps than not doing it. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, well, what if we just stopped on social? I'm like, dude, there's no way we could do that,
There's no,
right?
yeah, there's no way.
No, because then I can't like when I talk to an investor, it's like, hey, you can go check out my podcast. We've got 100 and some episodes that we've been doing. Um, by the way, speaking of the podcast, you got to go check out the latest episode with Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, I
So
actually, yeah,
it's funny, dude.
yeah, I
Uh,
listened to it this morning actually, because
yeah,
here for me it's 11 p.m. So I
yeah,
already,
yeah.
it's ready. So I listened to it. Yeah, oh, Jimmy Duff definitely has a lot of so crazy stories. Jim,
Oh my god, dude. Yeah. I'm gonna have them on again in a few weeks, I think. But yeah,
yeah.
I look, I think it helps. We're not gonna stop doing the social media. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how many people call me a sleazy landlord. I don't care. Because you get
But
those dumb comments, especially on like TikTok or YouTube, right? I always know when a video or a reel is doing well because I'll get a nasty comment.
mm, yeah, but you know that what I really like about your channel, and also in particular the last one with Jimmy that you guys did. I was listening to it because I've been started to listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of stuff, and I was like, are we talking really about the same asset class, but that I'm listening from all the other podcasts? I was,
We are.
because I was like, this looks like different different stuff. Look, because uh, it sounds from other podcasts, it felt like fairy tales. Like, okay, super easy, infrastructure, city water, city sewer, cool. Just just maybe collections stay there, but everyone pays and all that stuff. But there's a lot of crazy stories. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah, there is. And I just like to really, get to I like to tell people the truth
yeah,
about what they're buying, right? Because you're going to end up getting in a deal and selling it back to me or somebody else, right? You're going to be like, oh, I don't like this deal. But I think you need to know what you're getting into because you're not going to be able to buy the 4-star, cookie cutter, like nothing perfect
mm,
deal when you're starting. You're not. There's going to be a lot of hair on the deal um, when you're
wow.
buying the first deal. So,
And I was talking, as I mentioned to you yesterday, to Robin Preston, that he has been doing RV Park, and in RV Park he was telling me that they're starting to see a lot of default in the space.
hmm.
They're actually preparing a fund to get those default properties, just to tackle those. Are you seeing default coming in into the MHP? Are are you
No,
seeing?
I haven't. We haven't seen that. I mean, there was a bigger group that kind of had some trouble that I know the guys who bought their portfolio, but that's really the only one I haven't seen. A lot of it. I think in the RV space, in particular, and why it's more prevalent is because you're paying for this low cap rate stuff, and it's not necessarily guaranteed income, right? If I have a full park, unless it gets wiped out by a hurricane, if I pay a 5 cap for it, like at some point, like probably I
Yeah.
bought it at a 5 cap too, knowing there was room on the rents, so I can go up maybe a little more aggressively and save myself. But the RVs, if everybody leaves, because I don't think the RV market is as hot as it was during COVID.
Yeah.
People were sort of moving around. Yeah, I don't know much about that business, but I just think it's more, it's just more,
No
I guess,
default in
cyclical
MHP.
or like, yeah. So, yeah, no, I guess is the short answer to your question.
Okay. Last question. Any future project, any future property that people might need to know about you guys? I know you guys have a fund. Are you guys raising at the moment? Maybe are you guys maybe transition into a fractional type of thing, like non-accredited investor to any any new stuff coming home for your fund?
Yeah, so we are, we have fund one going right now that we're working to finish. We're already working on starting the next one, and we're going to do just kind of scale the size of it. I don't know if we ever go to non-accredited investors. I mean, maybe we will. What I do like about that is that you give the everyday person, which is me, a blue collar some person, the opportunity to invest in these assets. Um, but at the same time, it's like I understand if someone has 10 grand in the bank and they're going to give you 10 or five, like it's a big deal. It's a lot of money. But that's a lot for us to deal with on the investor relations side because that person may, just in my experience, they're not like, the guy that invests $3 million, you never hear from him. Like,
Mhm.
you never hear from him. But the guy that invests 25, it's like, oh, hey, how's it going? And like, it's a big deal for them. And I get that, right? Because it's a lot of money. And we just, I don't know if we're ready necessarily to take that on yet. And even on that, it's like how much more money could we actually raise if we
Yeah.
if we did a,
Maybe
like a
there's probably
crowdfunding.
more money than parks.
Yeah, I mean, I no, but I'm saying I don't even know if we would raise that much more money, like 1,000,000, 5,000, or $1,000,000 and $5,000 checks is, yeah,
Mhm.
200 checks.
200 checks,
But
yeah.
I can go get one,
One.
right? I can go get one check for that. So you're just going to see more scale upcoming from us. Maybe potentially looking at an evergreen fund, like a rolling fund. Um, I don't know, but the fund model it works better for us. I don't know. You probably won't see any individual deals, maybe some one-offs.
Mm.
But if you want to check it
Mm.
out, just go to victorycapital.com and go to offerings, VICK2RY capital.com.
Nice.
You can reach out to us and invest at victorycapital.com as well.
Listener, if you guys listen, reach out definitely to Derek at Vicktory Capital. They can take care of you guys' money for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure, man.
For
I had an event.
sure.
We I love talking about this stuff, so I could keep going, but I'll let you end your show.
Oh yeah, definitely. So any any final thoughts that you might have, maybe a message to someone that is starting in this space? I know actually no wait. I think I heard you by maybe in one of your older stuff that you are doing something on Facebook like calls or Zoom calls or Q&A. You do it, maybe it was on Facebook somewhere. I don't remember. You're doing some calls or you're doing some mentorship. Are you still doing those?
No, I mean, so we've gotten reached out for like select mentoring. And we'll do that. Like I've helped people, but you just get a lot of people that aren't very serious and you end up spending a lot of time on it. Like if we do, like the short answer is we don't really do that anymore. But I've made exceptions, here and there. Um, so short answer is no. We did used to do the Q&As. I'd love to bring that back because I had fun doing it, and it gives people 30 minutes to come on and ask me stuff. But I would tell someone who's starting, it's just like you've heard me say this in my podcast, like you got to find out where the hell you want to buy, right?
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
probably better to be in your backyard. Otherwise, you're gonna look at the deals that Vittorio sends you. You're gonna look at the deals that Marcus sends you. You're gonna look at the deals, and you're never gonna know if it's a good deal or not. And so you're just gonna get confused, and you're never gonna do anything. So if you're in Grottoes, Virginia, where I'm from, I would probably look for deals in Grottoes, Virginia. Not an ideal market, right? But it's in your backyard, right? Or at least within a couple of hours. So you can drive and see the seller because the big private equity shop is not going to go see the seller. I'm going to go see the seller, right? So
Yeah.
you got to differentiate yourself. But I think it really comes down to like finding where you want to buy because then you can really hone in and and buy instead of just like lurking around and like looking at deals all over the place. You just make it easier for yourself.
Mm, great. That's a really golden nuggets there. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Derek, for your time. Really appreciate it. As I always tell people, and always tell, we talk with operators. This community, as far MHP community, RV community, it's a really great community. Everyone, and never met a douche as far even even people that are really busy. You are really busy, you give me a time of the day. All the operators that I'm bringing in are really busy people. They have thousands of lots, and they're giving 10 of the day, so really appreciate you guys. And if you want to get in this space, get in, because there's a lot of good people here. I mean, that's fantastic. But thank you so much for being my guest today, and I'm pretty much sure that we're gonna make a lot ton of money down the line together.
Yeah, for sure. I know we will.
For sure. Thank you so much. Bye everyone. Thank you for being here. Bye bye.